Chapter 5, Section 3. First thing we're going to learn is how to figure out what we're going to divide and how to divide long division. Just like we did this, if we divided 3 into 369, we'd figure out what this is. We'd put a 1 up here, 3 carry this down, we'd end up with 69. 3 goes into this twice, end up with 6, and we'd end up with 9 here, and then 3 and 9, we come up with our 0. This is what we're going to learn how to do with equations. Right, Nick? Right. Yeah, I know, you're listening. So, if I'm going to take a look at number 1, x cubed minus 8 equals 0. And we have to figure out what we're going to divide out of that. Preston, what would I divide out of this? How would I figure this out? What would I do? I'd have to make this some kind of cube, right, that 8? So x cubed minus what? 2 cubed equals 0. So what would I divide into it? How would I figure out what I'm going to divide into it? My x and my negative 2, correct? Right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to divide x minus 2 into x cubed minus 8. That's how we figured it out. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take x minus 2, divide into x cubed minus 8. Just like we did on long division now. What am I going to multiply my x by? To get x cubed. X squared. So I'm going to put x squared up here. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared minus 2 is minus 2x squared. But we're subtracting everything out. So what should we do? Change the signs on everything, right? So we want to remember this is going to be a negative out in front of it. And if we're going to do that, we need to carry that negative through. So we're going to change each one of these signs and then add them. X cubed minus x is 0. And then we're just going to carry down our 2x squared minus 8. Now we take the next step. We need to find, what do we multiply x by to get 2x squared? What do we multiply x by to get 2x squared? 2x, right? If we multiply this by plus 2x, then we come up with 2x squared. 2x times x is 2x squared. And 2x times negative 2 is a minus 4x. We're going to change the signs on these, on each one of them. And then we're going to bring it down. This is 0. This is a plus 4x minus 8. We're going to carry that minus 8 down. Now what do we have to multiply 4x by, or x by, to get 4x? What do we multiply x by to get 4x? 4, right? Yeah. So we plus 4 here. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8. Bam, we reach 0. So now we learned how to divide out x minus 2 into x squared plus 2x plus 4. So we got x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4, and this all equals 0. All right, so we divided that out, we figured that out. Now we can set x minus 2 equal to 0, so we know that x equals 2. That's one of our solutions. But we really can't factor this thing out the way it sits. So what are we going to put it in? Quadratic formula. Good job. We're going to stick this in the quadratic formula. Remember, this is A, B, and C. Our quadratic formula is x is going to equal a negative b, which is a negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 4, minus 16. All over 2a, which is 2 times 1, which is 2. Are we done? No, we're not done. So we have to say x, let's reduce this a little bit, minus 2 plus or minus 4 minus 16 is a negative 12 over 2. All right, are we done? No. Now we have to say x minus 2 plus or minus, I'm going to bring my negative out of this and make it an I out front, square root of 12, which we can break up into what? 3 times 4, right? 3 times 4 all over 2. What's the square root of 4? 2. So we can bring that out. We can say x equals minus 2 plus or minus 2i square root of 3 all over 2. Now what can we do? We can get rid of those 2's in each one of them, can't we? We can cross these out, divide each one of them by 2, and we end up with x equals plus or minus, oh, I'm sorry, not plus or minus, x equals a negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 3. And these are my answers. All right? See how we did that? Okay. Now that's one way we're going to look at things. We're going to also look at them this way. Let's do number 2. X cubed plus 4 equals 0. As it sits right now, we're looking at this cubed, and we say, well, we can't take the cube of 4, right? But we have a multiple of 4 in each one of these terms. So let's divide by 4. Divide by 4 here, here, and also over here. Because whatever we do on one side of the equal sign, we have to do on the other, right? So this becomes 1. So this is x cubed. This becomes 1. That's a plus 1. And that stays 0. Can we cube 1? Yes, we can. We can take the cube root of it too. So if we do this, x cubed plus 1 cubed equals 0, right? What are we going to take out of the x cubed plus 1? X plus 1. Notice what we got here? Got x plus 1. We're taking out this, x plus 1. Notice we just kept the cubes off. All right, we're going to take that out of this equation here. So let's set that up. X plus 1 out of x cubed plus 1. All right. What do we multiply x cubed by, or x by to get x cubed? X squared. So we end up with x squared plus x cubed. I'm sorry, x cubed plus x squared. But we're going to change the sign on both of these. And we end up here with 0 minus x squared plus 1. See how we brought that down? Okay. What are we going to multiply x by to get negative x squared? Negative x, right? Negative x. So we end up with a negative x squared minus x. Change the signs on both of them. Add them through. This becomes 0. We get x plus 1. That's what's left over. All right? So what are we going to do to this? We're going to just, by itself, x plus 1 and bam, 0. We now know that when we divide out an x plus 1 out of x cubed plus 1, we get x squared minus x plus 1. All right? Now we've got that part of it. Let me do it like this. Okay. Now we know we... Why did you do that? All right, I'm going to clear you. X plus 1, x squared minus x plus 1 equals 0, right? We know x plus 1 equals 0. So x equals -1. We put that into the quadratic formula. Equals a negative b, which is just 1. Not an x. I almost put an x up there. Just 1 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 1, minus 4ac, which is just 4, over 2. X is going to equal 1 plus or minus the square root of -3 over 2. X is going to equal 1 plus or minus I square root of 3 over 2. Can we do any more with that? No, that's as far. We can't take anything more out of the square root of 3, right? We've reduced it as far as we can. So this is my x here, and this is my x here. See how we did that? All right. The key was with that one, we had to divide that 4 out right away. Okay? So what do you have? You have 3, 5, 7, and 9 to do on this here. That help? Cool.